just to get you guys caught up on where we landed last time. Last time I taught how to use a tool called eraser.io to use AI to generate your database design. So as of right now, I have my database design, and my app idea is called Closer Academy. It's an AI sales coach. Eraser.ai is really cool in that you can pretty much on the left-hand side feed in a product requirements kind of document or just information about your product, and it will use AI to generate you um, a database design. So I have a basic database design, and my AI sales coach app is essentially an app that helps sales reps become better sales reps by giving them exercises, challenges that they can complete on a daily basis. Think of it like Duolingo, but for sales. I don't think there's anything like it in the market. And then I obviously run a sales team at Ambitious Labs. A lot of my friends who run companies also have sales teams. A lot of my friends are sales reps. Um, and so I think this would be a fun challenge to solve, right? Like build an app that helps people sell better. So I won't go too deep into this because I've already done this in a previous video, and I'll make sure you guys all get access to that. But where I landed last time was I was actually working on wireframing my app. But the wireframe that I had put together for my specific app was something that I put together using a UI kit that we had designed previously. Um, and so where I left off last time was here, where I built this screen where a user can complete their daily challenge. Okay. And so the way that it's going to work is that every day a sales rep is going to open this app and it's going to give them a challenge. Today's challenge is you're selling to John, a 41-year-old fitness enthusiast. The product is called the Pro X Fitness Tracker. The value proposition of the product is the Pro X Fitness Tracker offers advanced heart rate monitoring, GPS tracking, and personalized workout recommendations to help users achieve their fitness goals efficiently. Um, the sales rep will be given an objection like, why should I pay $150 when there are cheaper options available, like going to the gym for $19 a month? It's the sales rep's responsibility to then handle that objection and try to, convince the prospect to buy the product. So this is where I landed last time, but recently at Ambitious Labs internally, we are actually been working on a brand new design system to help you all learn how to wireframe your ideas more efficiently, and for us to give you guys better these UI kits whenever you guys work with our design team. So if you are a member of the accelerator or the academy, you will likely be able to view you will be able to view this phase called designing your app in Figma. And the purpose of today's lesson is to show you guys how we will use our Ambitious Labs wireframing template to actually build out the wireframes, the low fidelity wireframes of our app. Because we want to eat our own dog food. We want to show you all how we expect you to use the design systems that we've created to help you guys build faster, more efficient, and for us to be able to turn around your design kits faster too. So if you are in the designing your app in Figma phase, this is going to be a really good timing for you. If you're not, all good. If you already passed this phase, I'm sorry, but we just rolled out this feature, this design system recently. But remember, everybody gets unlimited access for life to the course. We're making a lot of updates. So you'll get access to this. So head over to your designing your app in Figma, and then you can tap on that wireframing template. This is going to open up the wireframing template in Figma. The first step is to drop down here and click duplicate to your drafts so that we are not modifying a master copy of it. We have our own copy. So what I'm going to do is call this Closer Academy wireframes. Okay. I'm not feeling too good either, so just forgive me if I'm stopping to drink some water. Today, we're going to go for about 20 minutes, and my goal is to walk away from this call with all my low fidelity wireframes done. So I can also prove to you guys that if you put a good 20 minutes of effort in, you can knock out a very big milestone for your app. So on the left-hand side here, you'll see some different screens. We have the documentation here, so you can understand how to use the design system. This is a design system that we forked off of a design system out there called CutFrame. So we did not build this. We modified it and made it a version of our own. Um, but this design system has pretty much every screen component icon you might need to design your app. So originally we were making you guys all do this on your own, but now we have introduced a design system and built our own version of it that allows you to kind of just drag and drop big like building blocks and move things around faster. Cool. So if you click on light mode here, you're going to see a bunch of screens. And we're so proud to have like all this organized for you in a way where it's super easy for you to just find screens that you want to use, right? So if you have, obviously you're going to have a login and sign up. So we've already built you out those login and sign up wireframes. You might have a paywall if you want to do annual and monthly subscription. We've already done that for you. Um, if you do user profiles, we have that for you. So we've done a lot of the heavy lifting, but there's still some customization that you're going to have to do, right? Like this stuff isn't just going to be perfectly done up. For example, if you want a map, you're going to have this map. If you have a photo gallery, you can use these screens. Social media, you have all these screens. Login and sign up. Sandro made a really good video inside of the Lab Dash. You can go to the DFY Get Your UI Kit designed here, and Sandra has put together a really beautiful 20-minute video for you guys to understand exactly how all this works. But we're really proud of this. And in today's lesson, I'm going to teach you how to use the cut frame Ambitious Labs design system to create your low fidelity wireframes. We're specifically going to do this for my app idea called Closer Academy. Okay. So let's get cracking. Awesome. So now that I've made my copy of this wireframe, the next step is to actually start building. So if I kind of go back to my product specs here, I want to build an app that allows sales reps to come to the app every day and complete an exercise. So we're going to have a daily challenge. We'll have a daily streak tracker. We'll have a ability to actually submit the challenge. We'll have a history tab where we list out all the previous challenge submissions, a profile tab where we have the user's profile picture, a leaderboard. We're going to have two user types, right? Sales rep and then admin. And I've also kind of baked out some of the, well, not baked out, but I've at least seeded some of the database designs. So my app is quite simple. Every day, sales rep gets up, they click the app, they complete a challenge. So let's get that idea out of my head and onto a Figma file. So anytime you have an idea for an app, this should be the first thing or one of the first things that you do after you validate it is come to a lo-fi, and lo-fi stands for low fidelity. Come to a low fidelity wireframing kit like this one and get it out of your head and onto paper. So let's get cracking. Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to submit wireframes here. Okay. And inside of onboarding flow and paywall, I'm going to start building out my onboarding flow. So our team wants you to insert your content here so that you can kind of communicate to us how you want your app built. So here's what I'm going to do. Let me share my screen. Cool. So every app starts with a splash screen. That's like the screen that is open when you first load the app. So I'm going to have my splash screen here, and I'm going to change this to something like, I'm going to say not built with love, but built with ambition inside of, or maybe I'll just say built with ambition. I'll zoom in here. I'll get rid of this icon. And eventually here I'll add my logo, but for now I'll say built with ambition at Ambitious Labs, right? Cool. So I just basically set up a basic splash screen. I want people to log into my app, so I'm going to have a login screen here. I'll have a sign up. So I have this stuff there. So for my app, I want there to be login with Google. I don't want there to be login with Twitter. Instead, I'm going to have login with email because FlutterFlow supports login with email, and we don't really want to implement Twitter. So here's what I would do if I were you guys and I was working with, Ambitious Labs and I was creating my low fidelity wireframe. I don't want you to think about customizing this too crazy. I want you to think about just assembling the building blocks together and then use the Figma notes feature up here to then communicate to our design team, the design team that you're going to be working with, to tell them what you want, right? So instead of saying like log in with email and like me going out and changing this, I would just say here like replace this icon with um, an email icon. Okay. Then login, I would change this to be something like, log in with email. And then I would communicate to the designers here, like, um, allow user to input email and password. And then here would be allow user to sign up with email and password. So all I'm really doing here is just putting some building blocks together and then annotating how I would want those building blocks to work. Okay, so cool. Now I got like some basic sign-in screens, and then the next step is to work on onboarding. So when a user creates an account for the first time, typically you have an onboarding flow. And we've actually mapped that out here inside of Dreams into Apps where I have an example user flow diagram. So user flow diagrams are diagrams that you will have to do as you are building your app um, to illustrate like the user's journey and how the user will interact as they go through your zero to hero kind of journey that you build for your application. Okay. So normally when somebody opens your mobile app, you're going to detect if they're logged in. If they are, you will kind of take them to the homepage. And if they're not, you typically take them through an onboarding flow, right? You want them to be customizing the app for their first time user experience. And we specifically do this inside the Dreams into Apps program because we've ran millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of paid advertising and traffic to mobile apps. And we always run it to an onboarding flow. And every major app runs direct traffic to onboarding flows. It's the best way to customize a user's experience. And it's proven to convert the most customers into paying subscribers. Okay. So that's what we're going to implement right now is like if they log in for the first time, then we need to give them an onboarding flow where we ask them about their goals. Okay. So let's go design that out right now. Okay. So if I create an account for the first time, then I'm going to have my onboarding screens. But you might be asking, like, what onboarding screens? Okay. I'm not sure yet as of right now. We're going to come back in another lesson, most likely the next lesson, and we will build out the user flow diagram. But for today, I just want to lay down the foundation for my wireframes and just kind of get this idea out of my head and onto paper. Okay. So cool. Onboarding. Let's head back to our light mode and then go find onboarding screens. So we have onboarding screens up here. And as you can see, there are a few different options for us. There's this option that I like where I can actually select, many items, but I'm actually looking for something a little bit simpler. So let me find something that's more of like a selection. And you should all take time to go through the um, design system so that you can learn where everything is. You won't learn it immediately, but if you look at it and you understand the different sections, you might find something that you like. So here, for now, I'm going to grab this onboarding screen right here. Okay. I'll go back to submitting my wireframes and I'll paste this onboarding screen here. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to have like onboarding, one, onboarding two, onboarding three, potentially onboarding four. Then what I'll do is I want to show a loading screen after somebody has onboarded. So here's what I would probably be doing. Like, first, I'm going to ask a question like, what are your goals? Okay. How much time do you have to invest in becoming a better sales rep every day? What do you currently do for work? I'll ask them some questions that allow me as the business owner to understand who they are and to qualify to see if they're a good fit for my application. Okay. So then at this point, I need a loading screen. So I'll go back and I'll find some screen for loading. I'm actually like uh glad that I'm struggling to find something because it shows you that I am actually going to be eating my own dog food here and building what I preach. So Sandro, as many of y'all know, is our head of app strategy and kind of been leading strategy for all of y'all's products, and he's the one who put this together. The way that I'm approaching this is I am his student and I am building my app using Sandro's guidance. So I'm glad that I'm able to pretend that I'm a student here. And this is for real because I actually haven't built something with his design system. So this is exciting for me to see how I would utilize Sandro's curriculum and instruction here to deliver on this deliverable, which is to build a low fidelity wireframe. So for now, I'm not able to find a loading, which is totally fine. I can get creative with it, and I'll add a splash screen here instead. And instead, I'll change it from splash screen to loading, and I'll get rid of this stuff. And I'll leave a comment saying, change this logo to a loading wheel. And under the loading, say customizing your Closer Academy experience. So app users love personalization. When you personalize an experience to a customer, it typically has positive effects on conversion rate, on retention, and just overall customer satisfaction. So I'm a big proponent of building these onboarding flows. If you're inside of Dreams into Apps, I already have a lot of content inside on how to create high converting paywall flows. Cool. So I got my I got my wireframes here for sign up. I did some basic onboarding and a loading screen. The next thing I need is a paywall because I want to make money with this app. And I'll tell you about how much I'm going to price this app at soon, but I want to make some real money here. Um, I like this paywall because it allows me to kind of show monthly and annual. So I'm going to click this paywall and I'm going to head back to submit wireframes. I'm going to drop my paywall after the loading screen. But I am actually not a fan of just loading and going into a paywall. I actually believe there needs to be a summary page here that says, this is how Closer Academy can help you. The reason I do this is because I don't like to ask people for money, and you shouldn't either, unless you provided at least a little bit of value, right? Like that's um typically how apps will work. Like they'll give you a little bit of a teaser. They'll say, "Hey, this is how Calm app can help you. This is how Duolingo can help you." You know, Duolingo says go from like novice to expert in, 14 days. Here's your personalized learning plan, right? That's like one example. Another example is like sometimes an app will like give you their experience during the onboarding flow so that you can feel the experience. I'm not specifically going to do that right now. I could do it in another iteration, but um, imagine if I built an onboarding flow that's like, hey, complete your first exercise now. Somebody completes their first exercise, they get the feedback, and then it says, want more like this? Upgrade now. Right? That's like one way of giving value before you ask for the sale. Um, I'm gonna go with a standard kind of like lead qualification onboarding flow where I'm like onboarding the lead. The lead is like the new user. I'm gonna ask them questions to kind of psychologically prime them for what my app has to offer. And then I'll make the ask for the sale once I feel like I've given them enough value. Right. So how am I gonna do that? Okay. I'll go to light mode and I'm gonna find more of like a summary screen. A screen that's kind of like um summarizing a few key ideas. So I'll work through here. And the one that I really like right now that's sticking out to me, the one that I really like right now is kind of this guy. It's a payment screen. I know they're all cards, but I think that could actually be kind of cool. Let me show you what I'm thinking. So what I'm thinking here is I can add a screen that says like um, personalized plan. And what I can do is kind of remove this. I can shorten this. Excuse me, I can bring this down. What I'll do is I'll grab a piece of text and I'll put it up here. I'll say something like, here's how Closure Academy can help you become, here's how we will help you close more deals. Okay. Then what I'll do is I'm going to leave a note to the designers and I'm going to say, um, create 3 cards that have um, create 3 cards that describe how we will help. And I'll say card 1, uh, complete daily challenges. And I'll say something like practice, say H1, and then H2, which stands for heading. We'll say something like practice makes perfect. Complete daily challenges to learn how to complete daily challenges. Well, actually, I'm going to say the same thing I'm saying in my heading. So I'll say something like um, practice makes perfect. Um, simulate sales scenarios using our AI sales coach. Okay. Card 2 is something like H2. Um, become a better sales rep. Or excuse me, H1 is become a better sales rep. H2 is um, the best sales reps in the world are practicing and role playing consistently. Now is your chance to join the top 1%. So this is something that just popped up in my head. Like I don't really have a clear vision for this yet. Um, but I do want our design team to understand like where I'm heading with this. And what I could even do is if I wanted to customize any of the um, design system here, I could right click, hit detach instance, and that actually will allow me to adjust this to how I want it, right? So here's what I'll do. I'll get rid of this like debit card looking thing, and instead I'll add my note there. I'll adjust this and kind of bring it down, right? So now you're kind of seeing how this would work. And then I'm going to have a continue with premium, but I'm not going to say premium here. I'll say continue. Okay. So boom, now I've created like this personalized kind of like personalized screen that will feed in data based on what my user says here. So this is like the art of apps and like the art of like how to personalize, a conversion experience. Like ask the user questions and then use those questions against them when you're trying to position yourself to make the sale. Um, Pro tip. So then what we'll do is we'll give them this opportunity to see how we're going to help them. And then when they hit continue, now is when they'll see the paywall, and we're in a good position to ask for the sale at this point. Okay. So this trick, right? Not, it's not really a trick. This principle or this pattern I've seen work in dozens and dozens of apps. Adrian had the same pattern in his app. I had it in Virally in PrizePicks. Like if you get this part right and you're building a freemium premium subscription app, you will never fail. Honestly, you will always convert at least someone to your trial with enough traffic. And the only reason you wouldn't is if you don't have good App Store screenshots, you don't have a really well thought through like onboarding flow, your brand is kind of like wonky, but if you follow the process, this is how you will convert users. And a lot of our builders who have launched successfully are doing this, right? So cool. What I've done in just about 10 minutes here is I've created my wireframes for my onboarding flow and my paywall. Okay. Then um, I'm going to now work on my homepage because if somebody converts, they're just going to be tossed to the homepage. If somebody doesn't convert, they're still going to be tossed to the homepage. The only difference is like what's going to happen on the homepage if you're a pro user and if you're not a pro user. So my business model is going to be freemium premium. And so I will be kind of uh, going through this entire exercise like I'm a freemium premium user. And recall I have zero plans as of right now. I'm actually building this alongside the Dreams into Apps philosophy. So you guys can kind of see how I think about this as an experienced entrepreneur. Okay, cool. Let's keep hacking here. So now we will talk about kind of our bottom tabs. So here's what I'll do. I actually got rid of that bottom tabs. So bottom tabs, we need to decide like what are the tabs that we're going to show on our home screen. So we'll say home screen bottom tabs. Here I'm going to say challenge. Here I'm going to say history because this is where I want my users to go back and see their history of uh of challenges that they've submitted, and then profile. So I just want to have three screens. Very simple. I'll do something here like money icon. Here like I don't know, saved content icon. And then here I'll say something like profile icon. Okay. So I'm just leaving notes here because the next step inside of Dreams into Apps is to send the lo-fi wireframes to our design team. And our design team is going to turn around a really beautiful design kit. So I just want to give them as much context as possible. And one piece of context that I'm not giving them here that I should is like change all onboarding screens to have one line, or excuse me, have each option on a single line. Example, option A, option B, option C. Okay. So if I were to kind of adjust this, I'll detach the instance. And I'll probably just like delete. And then what I'll do instead is just make this a lot bigger. Probably shouldn't have got rid of that gray one, huh? So I'll make this one a lot bigger. And I'll just kind of replicate it. So that's more of like an onboarding kind of questionnaire that I'm looking for. So I'll actually swap these out just so I don't confuse my designer. And I hope you're kind of seeing like how I manipulate the wireframe. Cool. Cool. So beautiful. At this point, I have my login and sign up, and then I have my onboardings, loading screen, personalized plan subscription. Fantastic. I also have my bottom tabs. So now let's kind of hack through and finish up. The next one is home, where I'm essentially going to be building out that page that I showed you here, where a user will complete their daily challenge. Okay, so let's go work on that. I'll get rid of this iPhone 14 Plus and I will head back to light mode. We're going to find more of a dashboard screen, right? And if you don't see a screen that you like, the best option is to find something that has like components that you could use, and then we customize it, right? So nothing to be like shy of. Here's what I'll do. Here's like chat. So here's what I'll do. I kind of like this one. And I'll tell you why in a second. Hmm. Yeah, let's use this guy. And we'll start building out our homepage. Okay, so our homepage is going to say something like, I don't really want to have that. It's going to say something like, uh, start training, or it's going to be like, complete your daily challenge. Okay, I'll drop the font size. Okay, for now, I don't think I need anything like this. I'm mostly just trying to replicate kind of my daily challenge here. So what I'll do is I'll say something like, hmm, yeah, okay, I will. I'll just go with this. I have to kind of flex my creative muscles here, and you will too. You'll have to kind of think about how do you want to lay this out. So what I'll do is I'll say complete your daily challenge, and I'm just gonna copy kind of how I have it built out here. So we'll center align this, um, and then that we'll create a card using their card system, right? I'll use one of these cards. I'll make this card bigger, and I'll essentially just kind of copy it over. So I'm gonna add a piece of text here that says today's challenge, or I'll say something like ICP. ICP stands for Ideal Customer Profile, and you guys should all know that, even if you're in the app space and not sales, because all of you are building an app for an ideal customer profile. So what I'll do is I'll say like ICP. Maybe what I'll do is kind of break it up into their own cards. So I'll say ICP. I'll say product. value proposition, right? And then objection. Maybe I'll combine these two because I don't really like how that was unfolding. So I'll say objection, and perhaps I can then come to stroke here and just kind of alert to my designers that I want like the objection to like stand out. Um, and then I'll add back one of those buttons. So let me show you how I would add a button. I will go to light mode and go back to the design system and then find the buttons. So cool. Like I'll just grab one of these cool black buttons and drop it here. We'll say record submission. Okay. Beautiful. So I'll have the submission record button here. So my vision is that like when somebody clicks record, I will then record them. Like I'll show them a pop-up and they will then start recording. So here I have pop-up. Okay, so I'll grab that. Come back here. This will be like a timer where it's like timing the recording. And I'll bring this button up here and I can say something like stop recording. Okay. Once they record, then I'll probably have another screen that says something like challenge complete. Or what I'll do is they'll hit stop recording, and then maybe what I'll do is actually I'll have another screen like this that says like challenge response, which is like view feedback. I'm not exactly sure how I want to label this, but you could be like, here's what your coach thinks about the way you handled that scenario. And I want to have like an AI forward kind of approach to this to really like make the user feel like they have an assistant, right? Like a real AI kind of companion. So your tone of voice, because tone of voice really matters in sales. Your tone of voice, what else? Your objection handling, suggestions. Okay. And then this button will be complete challenge. Okay. So once they complete their challenge, then for my MVP, my minimum viable product, all I want it to do is send them back to the home page. And if the user has completed their challenge for the day, I just want it to say something very simple like a card that says, nice work. You finished your challenge for the day. Check back again tomorrow. That's just my MVP. I just want to figure out after I launch this, like, what's I just want to figure out after I launch this if this is something that people actually want to use and if I can get like my sales team to use it, my friends who are sales reps, like, can I get people to use this? If I can, then I'll be pretty damn happy and I can continue to add more features. But I'm convinced that with this type of framework, I can um, test the hypothesis if this needs to exist, first of all, and I can kind of build like a basic version of it. So the next thing I'll do, the last thing I'll do, is I'm actually going to design two more tabs. This tab is going to be history, and then this tab is going to be profile. Okay, and these will be pretty simple. I'll go back to light mode, zoom out, and find my profile screen. My profile screen is going to be really simple. All it's going to be is just a page where you can update like your name, your settings, and I'll just keep it really simple. Like I'll say something like name, user profile. I'll say something like, you know, we need to have a contact us. So we'll say, here, how about we do this? We'll just say links, contact us. Um, we need privacy policy, terms of service. Add a footer that says built by Ambitious Labs. I'll say join Discord. So that funnels people into Ambitious Labs Discord. I could even build a separate Discord for this so that as I get users, I can build my own community. I'm obviously big on community and like validating the product. So by having this link right here, you can funnel people into a place where you can actually talk to them, right? Because that's gonna be the best place that you get your user feedback. So cool. I'll leave this alone for now. I think profile is good. And then, like I said, I need to do a history tab. So I'll go find history page. Something like this is fine, where I have my dashboard. And I'll put, in a piece of text right here, I'll have like white text that's kind of big. User will, user can access this screen by clicking the history tab on the bottom tab menu. And essentially each card, how I think about it is, and delete all these extra ones. Each card is going to have, oops. Each card is going to have the date, the product, um, and then like maybe like one line over the value prop. And then yeah, I think that's fine. Date, product, value prop, and then like maybe feedback summary, like one line. When a user clicks on one of these cards, we will take them to the challenge submission feedback page so they can review their feedback. Okay. So good. So then what we'll do is when somebody clicks on this, we're literally just going to take them to this exact page that we've already built out. I'm a big believer in like simplicity, and in the world of apps, having screens that you can reuse makes your life super easy. Like if you can use one screen again for the same purpose, you get a lot of benefits. A, you can use the same data structure. B, you can use the same API call. And as long as this page has the page parameters that need to exist, meaning like the inputs, it will load. So you don't have to think about creating multiple pages for multiple use cases. I'm a big believer in just trying to create reusable pages that can be used again and again. So that's a really cool pro pro design pattern that comes with experience. It's not easy to understand at first, but you'll kind of see how that unfolds as we go through the series. Awesome. So this is very low fidelity, right? Like low fidelity meaning rough. You can get as detailed as you want. Like we don't mind if you get more detailed and you add more pieces of text, you add more images. Like I don't want to do that right now because I am focused, quite frankly, on the overall layout and the design and the planning of this. Um, but you can get as detailed as you want. The more detailed you are, like the better the output will be when you work with our design team. I'm not going to send this to our design team right away because in the next lesson that we do on Thursday, I want to continue flushing this out and I want to create a user flow diagram that maps our journey. Okay, so that's it for today's lesson. I think we learned a great deal on how you can use, our Ambitious Labs wireframing template to design a wireframe for your app. And then also you're kind of seeing me do it in real time for Closure Academy. So I'm trusting y'all to follow the principles that I've laid out here for using our design system. And yeah, if you're in the program, you're building your own app, head back to the Ambitious Labs dashboard, check out the wireframing template. This is actually a product of like y'all's feedback. So we appreciate your feedback as y'all work through this, but I'm really bullish and I'm super excited to keep working on this. So if anyone has any questions, now's the time to drop it in the chat. And I can repeat it again. Cool. Naomi says, yeah, Matthias, if you're in the accelerator, it is in the designing your app in Figma. And if I remember, you are not in the accelerator. So I will float that over to you because I think you're in the academy. But here's the link right here in the Zoom chat. So cool. About reloadable pages, reusable pages. Yes, what I was saying was I'm a big fan of using the same page in multiple places if it's possible, right? Um, because if you have one page and you know the data that needs to go into that page, all you need to do is make sure that data exists, and then you can use that page again. For example, like here's my flow for how a user completes a daily challenge. They're going to open their phone, they're going to see the homepage, they're going to complete the daily challenge, they'll record the answer, they'll get their feedback from the answer, right? So what's going to happen is that I'm going to get the answer, I'm going to send it to an AI, the AI is going to come back with feedback, and that feedback is going to get saved in the database and it's going to get outputted onto this page. Okay, so since I have that data in the database and I know what the structure of that data is, I don't need to create another page for it later. If I need to access that data again or that page again, for example, like in my history tab, my history tab is going to be where a user can go back and see all their previous submissions. So if a user taps on their previous submission, I can reuse that same exact page because that data is already in the database structure is the same, and I can just use it again, right? So I don't need to design another one. I see a lot of builders. Sometimes we get your UI kits and you guys might design like a whole separate page for this. I would encourage you to just think about it earlier and figure out ways that you can reuse them in other places. This doesn't happen a lot, maybe one, two, or three screens, but it's a good design pattern to follow when you're thinking about like reusability.